Well, I can't seem to stop buying cheap bikes and stripping them for parts. I've already made like 3 videos in a row. And I just bought this bike and I'm going to do it too. And I think I'm going to buy like 2 more this week and do it too. So that's kind of boring. But I'm thinking this is like a 63 centimeter frame. It's huge. It'd be impossible to sell as a bike. So I'll try and sell the frame real cheap. Some tall guy will eventually come along and want it. Or I'll donate it to Bike Farm. And these parts will be cool. Something I'm going to do is a frame swap video. So if your frame cracks or you buy a bike that's the wrong size, which is often the right thing to do, is buy a frame that's cool, cheap, and then go buy a cheap bike in a really big or really little size no one cares about, so it's cheap. And swap all the parts over. So a friend gave me this Bridgestone 400. It's nothing cool, but it's a 58 instead of a 63, so a lot more of a common size. And it's made in Japan, and it's Bridgestone. And I already did a little frame alignment check for him, and it's correctly spaced and not damaged, and nothing's cracked, and there's nothing wrong with this frame. And he ran a business with this frame for a while, putting up show flyers. For years, I guess. It's like a little basket bike. So maybe I'll swap most of the stuff over on this old Bridgestone. I mean, I'll probably end up putting some like uprighty bars on it and some thumb shifters and, you know, making it way, way, way cooler. A little basket or something cool. And the Bridgestone's got a slightly out of whack fork. So this will give me an excuse to go ahead and get around to getting this fork aligned and straightened and perfect and working. And it will let me do a headset install video, which I haven't done yet either. That's if this Bridgestone was made for 27-inch. Which it might be. That's the only problem I'm having is I have a lot of 27-inch wheels. A lot of 27-inch frames, which I love 27-inch frames. Old Japanese bikes are the best bikes ever built. These middling, not super expensive, not super fancy bikes are the best, and here's why. Because these old 27-inch wheeled frames have room for 700s, 32s, which are great commuter and riding size, and fenders. The 27s are a little tight, fenders are tight, but you have nice big room with a 700C to get like a nice Velo Orange hammered alloy fender in here, or any Planet bike, like black plastic fender, which are fantastic. Then you can commute on them year round. They're also a little bit heavier gauge tubes, so you can thrash on them and beat on them, and they're not as likely to break or whatever. You don't really care as much if people ding them or you wreck them or you smash your car door into them. So they're a little heavier, but whatever. They're cheap and they're commutery. They're great. The stays are just long enough to fit the fenders and a kickstand if you want, but not so long they feel sluggish like a touring bike. And they're not super expensive. They are the best bikes. Like I tell people all the time, the best cranks are old 80's mountain bike cranks. Even the 80's road cranks are great. Like I bought this bike for $20, so I couldn't help myself. The old fella died. His son-in-law finally decided to get rid of their bike collection, his old stuff from high school, and his stepdad's bike from the 80's. And I bought it because it's got alloy Sagino cranks with these cool Drillium rings, and it's got a really nice set of Suntour AR derailleurs, and a really good set of 27-inch wheels, which aren't cool, but they're in good shape, and they have brand new Continental tires on them. I mean, that's like $70, maybe 80 or 90 with tires and tubes. So I can put this on something else and build a bike real cheap, and I can actually turn around and sell for $300, all overhauled and refurbished. Or not a lot, but you know, worth making a video about and paying myself back a little bit. And then some real tall guy will be real stoked to get this frame, and he'll put a bunch of weird mismatched Altair stuff on it and just be totally happy. So that is the plan. So I'm going to strip this bike. I'm not going to cover too much about it. The first thing we always do with a new project is check the stem and the seat post. Make sure these things aren't frozen in the frames, making the frames worthless. I stripped a bike yesterday, didn't film it, and I regret it because the seat post was stuck and I got it unstuck and I should have done a video on it. So maybe we'll see what good luck out with this one. And the stem was also stuck and had markings of it being hit with a hammer before. So it had been stuck before, someone else tried to get it out and couldn't. I got it out pretty easily. I wish I would have done a video on it. Maybe we'll have luck with this one. So let's start by trying the stem and the seat post. So if this bolt just turns and turns and turns, we're probably golden. Hey, look at that, it moves, no problem. If you're trying to loosen this and this bolt just keeps coming up and up and up, it means it's frozen, and we're gonna have to do some lubing and some hammering. Let's get it down for the old seat post. Oh, I love this old 27-inch bike with a kickstand. So convenient. Alright, how many decades has this seat post been in here? Too low. Oh, baby. This is also something to notice. All these old bikes have these flutes in the seat post to look cool. If these flutes are down too low, or they're below the seat lug, they just let water and gunk fill them up. And I have seen bikes that literally had mud in all the way up to about where the derailleur clamp's on, and then force the derailleur clamping on, and the tube getting thin and rotten from the inside had cracked right around the front derailleur. So these guys especially, not too low. I'm just going to pull this all the way out because we're going to clamp that tube. It's a little mucky, but there's lots of grease on there. Kept it from freezing. 26/8. It's a good Japanese size for middling tubing. Straight gauge chromoly tubes. Totally nice. Not super heavy. Man. This looks like this guy might have had a broken clavicle at one point. See a lot of saddles that are bent, a lot of Brook saddles that are sagged down on one side. It's usually if someone broke their clavicle and they'll carry their weight weird forever, for the rest of their lives. And they will constantly bend saddles. So that's fun. Bent! Most old bike saddles with bolts are 14 mil. Mostly. Oh, let's shift down, make it easier to pop these wheels out. These look like good 27-inch wheels. They're pretty true-ish. Pretty round. No brake wear. Let's hope they can be saved. We'll open them up and give them the whole tune-up. No broken axle. Real common on freewheel wheels, since the bearings are way down in here. Way down in here into the freewheel. A bunch of just axle spacers. If they like to break, the whole axle will come out. Or people just ride on them quickly, so they hold them together and they'll grind the bearings to pieces. This has a cool Suntour freewheel. And cheap spokes and lowish tension and blah blah blah. Not great. Decent for light people. I would break this wheel if I rode it. Although considering riding it. Suntour perfect. In gold. Wow, I wonder if this thing was fairly new. I mean, oh god, it might be brand new. Looks like you got a tune-up real recently, these new tires. Maybe you got a new chain and new old stock freewheel. That would be hot. These freewheels are worth dough. The only thing you really get now are Shimano freewheels or worse, like Sunlight. Man, they're not good. Those Shimano freewheels, you absolutely destroy the teeth within like 1 to 600 miles. You have to replace them all the time. They're a drag. So this wheel feels good. They're just like cheap sunshine hubs, but whatever, man. Araya 27 1/4. Brand new. I mean, still has the line on front and rear. Continental Gator skins or Dura skins. They're like, for a while, these were everyone's favorite tire in the entire world. Yeah, nice skewers, not rusty. Happy. I don't know if you can see back here. This is my pile of wheels I have to go through that I collected over the last few weeks. It's out of control. So the plan is to save as many parts off this bike as possible. I'm not going to tediously make you watch me strip the whole bike, even though I'm halfway there. And there we have it. Got this frame stripped down, sprayed down degreaser and wiped it down. It's actually a pretty cool metallic blue. Underneath this dirt, it looks even nicer than I thought. This thing's in really great shape other than some big paint spots that are missing. But yeah, real chromoly tubes. Real Suntour dropouts front and rear. Nice foreground and blades. And nice mid-trail kind of rake. This bike would probably be sick with a basket on the front. A little front load. Yeah, so it's torn down. I'm going to offer it up to the internets in case there's anybody in town who wants a big bike cheap. Otherwise, I'll put the fork on eBay like I do because people always need forks and shipping is not terrible. Might do the whole frame, but it's huge and that's crazy and expensive. But I might. 63 by 60. I think it's 126 space. That's a good thing. Yeah. So thanks for watching this video, and I think in the next one, maybe we'll start playing with that Bridgestone frame and see if this stuff fits and what I want to put on, what I don't want to put on. I want to keep these cranks, but I think I got some nice road cranks off something else I can throw on. Gotta dig around and see what parts I got. Suddenly I'm kind of in love with some of these parts. Don't want to give them up. Which is ridiculous. I want to build the Schwinn for myself first and have my choice of parts from what I have. And these other two bikes I'll buy over the next couple of days. I'd really like to do it 700C if possible, so I might respace the frame from 126 to 130. This bike I'm looking at tomorrow is like a Trek 1200 from probably the early 90s. And it's that boring group, I can't remember the name. It's like RX 100. It's kind of like 105 and silver and like whatever. And maybe I'll just use the wheels off that. Maybe I'll use the whole group. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure for myself. We'll see. But anyways, thanks for watching this video. And yeah, I gotta align the fork on that Bridgestone. Gotta press the headset in. It's all stuff I can do over at Mark Belladonna's shop. See if he's into that. The fork's kind of crappy. I'm thinking about trying to do like a home alignment on my kitchen table, so we'll see. And all you gotta do is be able to measure stuff and bend it and align the dropouts. We'll see you in the next video.